Hi, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing a very special reading for you. But before we dive into this reading, I have an announcement to make. I am open to private readings. So if you're interested in a private reading, if you're interested in a personalized private meditation or an animal healing, check out my website, daneharttarot.com, or it's also linked in the description box below, and you can book a reading, a meditation, or an animal healing with me. Now, before we begin this reading, which is on the supermoon, the Aquarius supermoon on August 1st, if you could like, comment, and subscribe on this channel, it would really help me get back in favor with the YouTube algorithm gods who are still punishing me for having to take off time to take care of my sick family members. So thank you so very much. You guys are absolutely amazing. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. This cleanse and meditation will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see the energy we need to be mindful of during this supermoon. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Here we have the Three of Pentacles. This is hard work and dedication and really being focused on what you're doing and what you want to achieve. But this is also other people taking credit for what you do. But there's an instinct to what you're doing. There's a sense of almost doing it without having to see it. I don't know. Yeah, that's what Spirit's giving me. Doing it without having to see it. But others trying to take credit for what you innately know. So just be aware of that. Let's see what Spirit has to say. Angels and Spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Here we have blissful reversed. We are not letting ourselves be filled with bliss. There's almost a sense of, I am not letting myself be filled with joy, bliss, happiness, whatever we truly love. There's a rationing of it. So Spirit is saying here, be mindful about that. It is time to fill ourselves with bliss, with happiness, with joy, with what makes life worth living, the beautiful, elegant, maybe even not elegant, but the beautiful, powerful, passionate emotions of life. Let ourselves be blissful, full of bliss. It should be bliss filled, right? That filled with bliss energy. So let's see what the tarot has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. And spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting reading. Okay, so let's talk about this time, astrologically speaking, before we dive into what the tarot has to say. Now, this supermoon is on the 1st of August. It is in Aquarius, and this full moon is 9 degrees, 15 minutes in Aquarius. Now, a full moon is the moon and the sun opposite each other. So Aquarius energy is all about community. It's all about collaboration, grassroots, the mind, intelligence, intellect, innovation. And Leo energy, which is what we're in Leo season, is all about the energy of the heart. It's letting go, not letting go, it's letting ourselves shine. It's letting go of inhibition, is what it is, and letting ourselves shine, be truly who it is that we are meant to be. Now, this is a time where the head and the heart can be at conflict with each other. And depending on where we are in our journey, depends on the conflict that we're seeing. So it's a time to move out of the strict logic of the head and to really let our hearts shine more and to let love become the transformative force in our lives, because love is the most transformative force in the universe. So here, during this time, astrologically speaking, we have Chariklo, which in mythology is the wife of Chiron. Chariklo, which is the largest asteroid in our solar system, is conjunct the supermoon. Now, this energy is absolutely beautiful, beautiful energy. It is the energy of holding sacred space in silence. So Chariklo holds sacred space in silence and also heals. So this is going to be a time where when we say like, I need my quiet, we mean it. But we also need to hold sacred space for ourselves, to connect, to root ourselves, to move forward in what we love. So just be aware of this. And combined with an Aquarius moon, and a supermoon at that, amplified by a supermoon, it really helps us move forward without judgment. So be aware of this during this time. Now, the North Node is conjunct the dwarf planet Eris. Eris in mythology is the warrior sister of Mars, and Eris leads us to truth, justice, equality, and leads us to stand in our power, stand for who we are. Now, Mars is conjunct Jupiter, which has us fighting for our beliefs and what's correct. Now, do note with Eris and with Eris conjunct the North lunar nodes and Mars conjunct Jupiter, we're all fighting for what we think is right, but we can all think something different is right. So just be aware of this energy as we're moving forward, that we can find people to be very stubborn during this time, very righteous as well. And they can find us to be stubborn and righteous because it's literally written in the stars. Venus is conjunct the Grand Trine, which brings visionary, inspiring energy forward. This is a beautiful time to create, to cultivate. It's very, very powerful. Now, Saturn is conjunct Mercury, which helps us focus our mind, which helps us stay on track, get things done. It is an energy here that's like, okay, I know what I need to do. I know how I need to do it. Or even if I don't know how I need to do it, I know it needs to get done and I'm going to do that. It's driven, it's focused, it's beautiful. Uranus is squared Venus. Now, this energy can be a little bit tricky. If we're in a relationship, we can really feel restless during this time. We can want more freedom and more independence. So, letting that be known instead of letting us, stew in resentment is going to be really important. If we're not in a relationship, we can find that somebody from a completely different walk of life, completely different way of being comes into our lives, just like out of the blue. Very different backgrounds from ours, very different, just very different person comes forward. Uranus squared Venus also brings with it financial, volatility. So do be mindful about that. Jupiter squared the sun and the moon makes things much bigger. Okay, they're going to be much bigger, much more dramatic. It's leaving behind complexity because Jupiter is in Taurus. It's leaving behind complexity and coming back down to earth, becoming focused again with what we want and what we desire, and really the heart of the matter of it. We're going to find that we're learning a lot during this moon. It's just going to be how it is. We're students, but we don't really want to be students. So everything that we're learning, everything that's coming towards us, coming at us, growing us, evolving us, we're going to be a little bit resistant to at first, and that's okay. Knowing here that we are students, that this is a time to learn, that this is a time to be opened, we're also going to be finding that we're a little bit disappointed with how we planted things, like how things have sprouted, like how the crops have grown, is what I'm really seeing here. And that's beyond our control. This is also a time where we're going to be learning a lesson that everything doesn't work out the way that we want it to. And I can just hear you right now, Virgo, saying, Dana, I already know this. Everything doesn't work out the way that I want it to. It almost never works out the way that I want it to. And that's taking it actually too far. We tend to focus on the negative a lot, and Spirit is saying here, just because it didn't go the way that you thought it should or that thought it would, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. So a lot of the lessons we're going to be learning here, they're around our heart, they're around also our root chakra, but they're also around a sense of, how do I love the root of me, what I can't see, what others maybe don't even understand, and how can I move forward with that knowledge, with that comprehension, and with that love for myself. With the Nine of Pentacles, it's funny because we can feel like things are so frustrating, and yet with the Nine of Pentacles, this is prosperity and success and bounty and abundance, and there's an energy here that says, stand where you are right now and bask in your glory. We might have to remind ourselves that things are better than they used to be, but it's looking at the bigger picture of what we want, but not getting caught up in the future, not getting caught up in the past. Be very mindful with your money, guard it. Be very prudent with how you spend things during this time. People are going to be telling you to spend more, or there's going to be an urge to spend more. If you can be, I want to say, frugal or resourceful or really conscious with your money and put things to where you know it needs to be, that's going to be a really important thing. So with the Nine of Pentacles here, just really looking at the prosperity that you need to move ahead, looking and honoring where you stand right now in your power and in yourself is going to be a really big thing. There's also a need to focus on the right here and not be pushed out into the future, because that energy can really come forward and be like, oh, well, I should be worrying about this. And what about this? And what about this? And Spirit's like, no, 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 no. Stand right here. Stand right now. With the Eight of Swords, we tend to be too much in our own head during this time, really overthinking, overanalyzing, getting just caught up. And this can ruin everything for us. We all know people who are living in an Eight of Swords world. They're living too much in their own head and they're just trapped in it. So just be very mindful about this. We need to look at things and not feel so doom and gloom. This can be it's all or nothing. And Spirit's like, no, be mindful. It's not all or nothing. There's variations there's power moving us forward. So being aware of this and being aware that our emotions, a sense of being scared, being overwhelmed, because you would be if you were tied to, what is it, tied to a rock in the ocean. You don't see that you can walk to shore. You don't know. You just feel the water, rising around you, and that would be terrifying. We can feel our emotions rising around us, and we can be having a hard time seeing the way forward. During this moon, a sense of focusing in the right here or right here. It can be talking to somebody too, somebody that you trust, somebody who is, just somebody that you love, or even, a therapist or a spiritual advisor, but somebody who can help you focus on what you love, what you desire, can help you move forward. That's going to be a very big thing, because we can get a little bit too trapped in our own head, and that can become very, very, very overwhelming to us. So just be aware of this. Yeah, just be aware of this here, Virgo, because that can take away our whole joy of this whole entire season, from full moon to full moon, from the 1st to the 30th, where we have another supermoon. It's actually a blue moon. So this is a very powerful month, and we don't want to waste all the beauty on doubts and fears and chaos and hurts and pains. And just like it echoing in our head and being like ping-ponging back and forth and back and forth and growing and growing and growing. With the Four of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles reversed is a release of blockages. This can leave us feeling a little bit wobbly, like unsure of how to move forward, because we're releasing blockages that have been holding us back for so long. But this can also be that during this time, we can have poor boundaries with certain people that we need to have really good boundaries with, or just with people in general. We can have poor boundaries during this time. We need to have boundaries, but we can't be locked away. So just be aware of this. There's almost a sense of free falling. So I don't know if you're having dreams where like you fall back into your bed and you can feel that, when you fall back. That could be actually astro projecting. So just be aware of this. You could be having that ability. But here, there's just a sense of free falling. Even when like I don't know, this happens to me in the car sometimes where it just feels like you're falling back into your body as the car moves. So just be aware. I'm just feeling that sort of energy happening a lot of the time. And that's really quite powerful. We're releasing blockages. This is vampiric energy that has been holding us back, keeping us from really moving forward the way that we want to move forward, achieving what we want to achieve, going after what we want to go after. And now we're starting to look at things and say, well, why was I even holding me back? Like, why was I being so harsh on myself? We are fantastic at getting the job done during this time with the Eight of Pentacles. Fantastic at seeing what needs to be done, going after things, looking at the details of things. It's very interesting because in a couple other readings, the Eight of Pentacles has been reversed and everybody's not really detail oriented. They don't really want to be looking at the details of things, but you're going to thrive, Virgo, on looking at the details of things, of, kind of putting the puzzle pieces together, getting it just right is going to be a very big thing for you. You're going to say to people, I want it just right. I need it just so. And you're going to have a touch where it's like you can put everything together. You can get everything to just sit just right, or have the colors come together in a beautiful way, or get something that was really difficult to just fit. And that's going to be that is a really beautiful thing during this time. You also have tremendous patience and a tremendous eye for things, so that that energy of Saturn, is really coming through beautifully for you. Saturn conjunct Mercury is really coming through beautifully. You can figure out the problems. You're a very good puzzle solver during this time. You can get things to fit together. You can look at the bigger picture. So that's a really great thing. And with the 10 of Swords reversed, you're falling out of a cage. There is a sense that yes, our mind can trap us. We can worry, doubt, fear, overthink, overanalyze, but we're also going to see a lot of chaos falling away. This is a time where we're going to see ourselves rising, like the phoenix out of the ashes, the transformation of ourselves. And there's a sense of, I'm leaving my old self behind. And it doesn't mean that we're not taking the lessons learned and not, really knowing what we understand. But there is a sense here of, I'm not carrying that baggage anymore, the doubts, the fears, the chaos, but also the emotional turmoil that went with that, through betrayals and hurts and disappointments, but also through the last 10 years. We're going to see ourselves shedding that old shell and really being like a butterfly. Transformation is going to be so brilliant and so key to this time, a spreading of our wings and opening up of what we love and what we desire in our lives and where we want to be for ourselves. That's going to be a big thing. We're coming to a conclusion within our mind. We've made a decision, and it's like, I'm letting go of what once was, and I'm stepping into me, and I'm choosing me. And that's going to be a very big thing. Let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels. And spirit guides, angels. And spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. So it's really nice here is that even though we're kind of fighting all the lessons that are coming to us, everything that we're learning, nothing is set in stone. And really it is time for us to embrace self-love, to see ourselves and know that we might think, okay, I know what's going to happen, but everything is always changing. There's always an element of change and surprise and beauty to the world. And we're going to be embracing that during this time. We're going to be stepping into that power. Nothing is yet set in stone. Remind yourself of that, Virgo, because you're thinking, well, I already know how it's going to come out. I already know what things are going to be. And it's like, okay, we can think we do. But divinity still has a lot of tricks up their sleeve for us. There's still a way that our angels can lead us forward that is just absolutely astounding. And it's time to love ourselves. It's time to put the love for ourselves and even for the child that we once were first, and especially for the child that we once were. We can be very serious during this time and think the inner child doesn't matter. And Spirit is saying, oh no, it really, really does. And you're actually going to have something during this time that kind of triggers you, that brings you to standing in that the child you once were, standing in your shoes, standing in those shoes of that child. And it's like, oh wow, it's much more in the present, in the forefront of my mind than I thought. Blossoming is reversed, and so is balance, the spiritual and the practical. We're having a hard time blossoming, transforming, letting ourselves shine, letting ourselves move forward. And we're not really balancing the spiritual and the practical. It is either going to be spiritual or it is going to be practical. And that's the head and the heart, element coming forward. How can we have the two combined together? How can we move in spirituality, but also practicality? And then it moves us here to resistance. There's a sense of we're resisting being broken down. We're resisting the what is it, the monkey brain, as they call it, that sense of danger and trouble and fear and hurt and pain and don't forget and don't let it ever happen again type of thing. It's not that we want hurt to happen again, but we don't need it to be always the first thing we see when we close our eyes or the first thing we think about whenever we see a situation. So we are resilient, we are resistant to being held back. And the energy is gaining momentum, the energy of growing and transformation, that resilience, it is gaining momentum. It is moving us forward in a beautiful way. This is going to be a time of extremes. We're releasing a lot of negative energy, and nothing will come of the situation. The void, of course, comes forward. And the void, of course, is a tricky time. So the void, of course, happens multiple times throughout a lunar cycle. And it's when nothing you expect happens. You kind of think, oh, okay, it'll happen like this, or the phone call will go like this, or the meeting will go like this, and it just doesn't. It always tends to have a life of its own and kind of go opposite to what you expected. So this is a time of extremes and a time where the best laid plans will have a mind of their own, will go in their own direction. So just be aware of this during this time, that it is a time of extreme, and it is a time where you won't really be able to pinpoint how things are going to go down, how things are going to move forward. It brings us to a place of wisdom. We're going to find that during this time, as we're working, as we're cultivating, as we're molding things, crafting things, bringing things forward, we are astoundingly wise. Embrace that wisdom, embrace that knowledge. Here, what do you need to release? It comes forward with the wisdom, with the insight that we have. It's like, okay, what do I need to release to move me in the direction I want to go, to, elevate myself in the way that I want in my world, to really embrace what I need, what I desire, who I want to be. What do I need to release? You're wise during this time, Virgo. Absolutely embrace that. We're having a hard time surrendering as we're releasing all this negativity. We can have a hard time surrendering to the moon, to a embrace of the self. And here it says it's a time to give rather than take, and that's reversed because it is a time to take in this energy, to surrender to the power of the moon and to say, how do I move forward? How does this charge me? How does this lead me to the place I want to be? How does this open up the doors? Our subconscious energy to be mindful of during this time is the Ten of Cups. Now, the Ten of Cups is an interesting card to be mindful of because and they all live happily ever after. But this is being very jealous of seeing everybody else have everything and thinking, I'm never going to have that, or it's never going to be as good as this person has it or that person has it. So just know that the green eyed monster can come forward during this time. We can be jealous and we can be looking at things and it's not good enough and it's not right and it's not this and it's not that. And Spirit's like, we will take away all our blessings if that's the energy that's surrounding us. So be aware of this. Our subconscious spirit message here is balance. This moon can bring so much balance to us subconsciously without us even realizing it. It can balance us, it can harmonize us, it can move us forward in just the most extraordinary ways. So letting that balance come in, not having to have everything be one way or the other. Really, this is a time, Virgo, if you say, like, let love guide me, let love move me, let love open my world, will be extraordinary. Extraordinary. It really will be extraordinary. It moves us then to our subconscious tarot reading, which is the Queen of Cups reverse. we can find this to be not that healing a time. It's rather chaotic, it's rather intense, it can be rather overwhelming. So just be aware of that. But we can also have a really hard time, Virgo, letting the heart in, letting the heart move us forward, guide us, expand us, really embrace what we love, what we want. And angers and frustration can be coming forward without us even realizing it. We can think, okay, I have everything, moving forward in the way that I want to, but then just an anger can move over us. And unnurturing energy can just be around us. It's not helping us grow, but it's just frustration. If we can slow things down, if we can center within ourselves, so we can say, I'm enough and I love me, I'm nurturing me, I'm taking care of me, that will be so healing. That will be a really healing, beautiful thing. Our subconscious Luna message is the end of a tough cycle approaches. Acceptance is reversed. We're having a hard time accepting the way that we want to move forward, or accepting what we have been through, or, the situation that we're in. Acceptance is reversed. We're having a hard time in accepting one thing or another. But the end of the tough cycle approaches. And if we can accept what we have been through, and I'm not talking about the horrific, because I do know that there are some things that are unexcusable, like absolutely unexcusable. But the acceptance, the sense of balance, of harmony, of even the acceptance of, I'm not letting this ruin my whole entire life and ruin my future, is a huge thing. Or I don't have to accept what has happened. We don't have to accept certain things, but I'm not letting it ruin me. It's also a really powerful stance to take. All right. All right, Virgo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this time and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Virgo. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. God bless, and have a blessed moon. Bye.